Executive Committee and the National Council also received report from the Amendment Committee chaired by Mr. Frank Davis, or Lawyer Frank Davis. And in the words of the committee, they received over 300 proposals from the rank and file sympathizers of our party. And they briefed NEC and National Council on where they've gotten to and the key areas that the National Council had to take a decision on. With respect to the call for expansion of our electoral college, indeed, the committee spoke about it. And again, that decision as to the number of expansion or the expansion level will be determined at the delegate conference scheduled to take place in July. The committee also spoke about the time for our presidential primaries. And again, the committee agreed that that decision does not warrant amendment of our constitution. But in light of the spirit and letter of Article 13 of the NPP constitution, that power is closed with National Council to make that decision. And National Council today also made the decision that the date for our presidential primaries is set for January 31st, 2026. That will be the date that we shall hold our presidential primaries. Because there's going to be a proposal or a motion for amendment for our constitution, a committee, or what we refer to as a planning committee, has been put in place by National Council to prepare and also implement directive that has been given to them for us to have a successful delegate conference to amend our constitution, the provision that has to be amended. A chairman for the committee is Honorable Joseph Osei Owusu, former Member of Parliament for Bekwai, as chairman. Henry Nana Boache, the national organizer, is the vice chairman for the committee. Honorable Jerry Ahmed, second deputy whip, minority whip, is also a member of the committee. The Greater Accra Regional Chairman Divine Ogohom Utu is also a member of the committee. The Deputy General Secretary, Haruna Mohammed, is the secretary to the planning committee. Honorable Abna Ose Asari is also a member of the committee. The National Treasurer, Dr. Charles Dramina, is a member of the committee. The Deputy National Women Organizer, Madam Safia Muhammad, is a member of the committee. And Mustafa Salam, the National Youth Organizer, or Salam Mustafa, is also a member of the planning committee. So it's the National Council also took a serious note on issue of some indiscipline in the party. And again, the party takes very seriously issue of discipline, and is something that we are not prepared to renege on our determination to instill discipline in the party. Certain individuals were cautioned today about some utterances that they have been making in the social media, on radio and TV stations. And the chairman for the occasion stood in to plead on behalf of those individuals and requested National Council to give them at least the last chance. In the wisdom of National Council, they accepted the plea from the chairman for the occasion, Chairman Smith Kwaputi, and rather cautioned them. We call on our members that at least they must show respect to our party, they must show respect to personalities in our party, they must show respect to leadership in our party. We know that we are a democratic party, everyone has the right to express his or her views, but it must be done within the confinement of our constitution, and they must also avert their mind to Article 3, which talks about duties of members of our party. So these are the critical issues that took place at NEC and National Council, respectively. Thank you very much.
Adia ye the fedi musi ye mutu no sidi trase bibi say why na o sidaya o ye roof no ansa no abe foundation why no sidaya o ye roof ansa no abe no foundation.
Why would anyone construct the roof before building the foundation? It's either some people don't understand the game or they are being selfish and greedy. Why would you elect a flag bearer before electing your grassroots executives? If you understood the dynamics of campaigning, what is the point of electing your flag bearer at this time? There are 88,917 human settlements in Ghana.
So what is campaign to see? What's your campaign as a par? Who could you flag bearer at this time? There are 88,917 human settlements in Ghana. The who can say when you flag bearer ne? Say onchi oma pro any Ghana for kasa in all these community human settlements. Obey 10 years.
If you elect your flag bearer today and expect him to travel to engage Ghanaians in all these human settlements, he would need 10 years. However, if you have 210,000 executives from polling stations like we have, they can cover the entire 88,917 human settlements within 2 weeks. As the party we are selling first and foremost, before the presidential candidate.
There is no way one person can win an election for any political party. Every polling station.
Dear patriots, dear countrymen, let me begin by expressing appreciation to every one of you for the show of love, concern and support during my tenure as the Minister for Education of the Republic of Ghana. The last few months, wherever I go, people will come to me and tell me how much they appreciate the work that I did for this country. I never expected such commendations from people on the street. My life journey has been defined by service, not just to causes, but to people. As Vice Chairman of the new Patriotic Party in California, I led efforts that mobilized resources and support for our party's victories in Ghana. Far from home, we stood firm in loyalty and contributed meaningfully to Ghana's democratic progress. But that was only the beginning. When the then candidate Nana Addo Akufo-Addo extended a call to me in California to return home, not just as a party executive, but as educationist, I accepted without hesitation. I left behind the comfort of California, where I had founded thriving STEM-focused high schools in Los Angeles specifically, and came home to help reshape Ghana's education system. I returned to serve. We are standing at a critical juncture in our national journey. Ghana needs leadership that is not only visionary, but also deeply grounded in evidence, compassion, and discipline. Leadership that understands that transforming a nation begins with transforming minds. I believe in a Ghana where every child, regardless of background, receives quality education. I believe in a Ghana where all youth has access to opportunity and meaningful work. I believe in a Ghana where every citizen, from farmer to entrepreneur, has a stake in our shared focus. A Ghana where we will wage war against poverty and win. I believe in a Ghana where we fully understand and appreciate that in this fourth industrial revolution, we'll do everything possible for our citizens to acquire the skill set that will lead to socio-economic transformation. With humility, conviction, and a resolute heart, I, Dr. Yaw Adutwum, declare my intent to run for the flag bearership of the new Patriotic Party when nominations are officially opened by the party, and eventually, with your support, become the President of Ghana. This declaration is above all a call to action to every Ghanaian who dares to believe that our country can be better, stronger, and more united. I'm offering myself as a servant leader with a mindset to transform our nation. This is a response to a lifelong call, a call to serve my party and my country with integrity, vision, and resolve. It's also a response to the many voices from party faithfuls, religious leaders, youth groups, and everyday citizens across the length and breadth of the country who believe that now is the time for a new kind of leadership. We need to rewire our nation transformation architecture to meet the needs of the fourth industrial revolution. Let us rise together with discipline, determination, and dignity to build the Ghana we want, the Ghana we deserve. I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to lead. I'm ready to transform. May God bless our great party, the new Patriotic Party. May God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you.
And that's Dr. Yaw Adutwum, former Minister for Education and also the Member of Parliament for Bosomtwi constituency in the Ashanti region. Before that, you had Justin Kodua Frimpong, who is the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, addressing the party faithful after the national meeting there. Also, you had Mr. Boakye Jaku, former Energy Minister of the Republic, who was questioning the decision of the National Council to do a top-bottom approach, and he was questioning how do you construct the roof before you construct the superstructure of the the enterprise. Let's go ahead and listen to some of the other contenders, or persons who have shown interest. Thus far, we understand that about 4 people have shown interest. Kennedy Akomprako Japan. We also do have Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who has not said it expressly, but by his actions and by commentary from his supporters, you would know. There's also Brian Echampong, who's been called Elon Musk, right? And Priso Elon Musk has been called that by some of his supporters. But listen, this is the Baumia camp.
Living.
All the studies are so far. The big issues are, 1, cost of living. Niema a kosoro, a hocheri epai. The economy, a idea, your friend of arrogance of power. Arrogance of power.
A 2024 presidential aspirant of the opposition New Patriotic Party, NPP, Kennedy Japan, called on the party to grant amnesty to all suspended party executives as part of its reconciliation and healing process. He urged that the humiliating defeat the party suffered in the 2024 elections was partly due to the poor handling of disciplinary actions against some party officials. In his view, many of the suspended members, including Paul Afoku and Alan Tremantin, should be recalled to the party.
In the morning.
Yes, sovereignty. I will stand on behalf of the NPP party to apologize to everybody that NPP has offended.
That's Kennedy Ohene Japan, former member of parliament for Asin Central, who also contested in the last presidential primaries. Mr. Showdown, some have called him. The Global Info Analytics have been running a poll. The new poll that they have, led by Musa Dankwa, shows that voters' preference for NPP leadership with 48.1% backing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to 25% backing Kennedy Japan. Dr. Yaw Adutwum had 12.5%. If you look at the voter preference for the leadership in 2028, Dr. Bawumia tops the chart with 48.1%. Then comes Kennedy Japan with 25.1%, and then you had 12.5% by Dr. Yaw Adutwum, 7.2% for Engineer Kwabena J. Japan, 41% for Honorable Brian Echampon, and 3% for Honorable Engineer Francis Adainimo. So that's what you have there, according to the Global Info Analytics, who went out there to conduct a research. And this is what they found. But the new Patriotic Party's constitution is quite unique and has a very strong voice on how the party should conduct itself, because people have questioned why the NPP at this time should be holding, considering or holding or contemplating holding the presidential primaries earlier, than usual in January. What does the Constitution say? Article 13 of the NPP's Constitution says election of the presidential candidate. The election of the party's presidential candidate shall be held not later than 24 months from the date of the national election. The date and venue for the election shall be decided by the National Council, provided, however, that the National Council may, on appropriate occasion, vary the date. And then you also have clause 4 of that same article 13 of the Constitution that says that when the party is in government, the election of a presidential candidate shall be held not later than 11 months before the national general elections. As it stands now, we know that the new Patriotic Party is in opposition, not in government. And so the not less than 24 hours rule will play. Not less than 24 hours could mean that it should not be in 2026, and it has to be run in that direction. So they are choosing to have the election earlier in January 2026. We are in 2025. The elections were fought and won in 2024. So 2025, 2026, 2027, and then the elections will be held in 2028. If you do the calculation, they have decided that they want to be way earlier than what the Constitution does say. There are also conversations around whether or not Dr. Bawumia camp is panicking, which is why there are machinations. For example, this reported not by me, but by the Hawk newspaper, suggesting that, for example, panicked Bawumia camp shreds party rules to block Ken. That's one. There's also Dr. Yaw Adutwum, who until recently was not part of the Pack of Three, because the Pack of Three at the time that, from deep-throated sources and from the grapevine and from people who were closer to the party had indicated, were Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, former Vice President of the Republic, and then also Kennedy Akompreko Japan, and then Honorable Brian Echampon. You remember I told you, around the Chairman Wontumi whole saga that you would find these three gentlemen were around their conversations, but that's a conversation for another day, and we'll get into it. What does Dr. Yaw Adutwum bring to the table? What does Dr. Bawumia bring to the table? What does Kennedy Japan bring to the table? And what does, what do they all bring to the table? Dr. Bawumia bring to the table as well. We will be asking the relevant questions because we have lined up 3 guests to connect with you and to speak with you on this very important matter. And it is in the interest of all of us that even though Ghana has a duopoly as we speak, the progress and the sustainability of the NPP is critical to all of us, because it will be in nobody's interest when we have a one-party state, then it will be akin to Ethiopia. Even with a duopoly, we see the challenges that we have. So now, with a monopoly, a Ethiopia kind of conversation, it will be, a tall order. Interestingly, Honorable Kennedy Japan, who in the last presidential primaries had sworn heaven and earth to give his own party people a showdown and to expose them and all of that, is now seen or pushing himself out there as the unifier, asking for the likes of Paul Afoko and the others who, are disgruntled and are out of the party, to be granted some form of amnesty so they can come back into the fold of the party. And it's a good call, if you ask me, because at this point, as I've indicated, what the party requires is unity. That's first one. The second thing that the party requires is to go back to the values and the principles of the party. And the likes of Engineer Kwabena Japan, Engineer Kwabena Japan. Also, you have the likes of Mr. Boache Jaku. They have insisted that going back to the old ways, Engineer Dynamo as well, they all insist that the way the party is conducting itself at this point and the way the party has conducted itself over time does not reflect what the new Patriotic Party's tenets was or were, at its formation. And critical to this point is the fact that you have had people who, have decided that we will stay away from the party. We will not be at the center of the party. As we speak now, the party's chairman, the Honorable Stephen Team, his family have come to say, look, we will not, we are not allowing a man or a family member to be at the helm of affairs, to be running this because his health is not the best. The question people have asked is, if his health is not the best, why don't you call for his resignation or advise him to resign so that the party will know that he is no longer there, that they will not have to defer issues to him, but rather ask that, he be excused for some time. How much time is some time if the party indeed wants to win back power? It's also another question that you find party people asking. Presently, you find Justin Kodia Frimpong, who's General Secretary, rightfully elected, at the heart of the conversations for the New Patriotic Party. But let's go to a former member of the New Patriotic Party and also a teacher of political science. Dr. Makuba is joining us on the phone line now. Doc, thank you very much indeed for your time. Good morning.
Good morning. I hope you're doing well.
I'm greater than Accra, Doc.
Amen.
Now, the New Patriotic Party is in the news. Obviously, they have purpose in their hearts to elect a flag bearer in January 2026. How does that sound to you?
That's a bit too rush. They themselves have done some forensic investigation to find out what went wrong. You have not implemented anything that the report indicated, and now you're going to run for elections. Well, what is that? That makes no sense at all. It makes no sense. It's almost as if whatever happened, they didn't learn from it, or it doesn't matter, so they will do it again. Too much rush to election. We don't live in this world just to be elected. We come into government to help the country, not just to win elections. So you have to clean house, What happened, it requires house cleaning. Some people must be removed. Some of the old officials must be removed and bring new people and make adjustments to your constitution and all the things that have gone wrong. They haven't done any of it. So how are they going to run for election again?
Well, but the party insists that they want to run a top-bottom approach, instill discipline, and also to make sure that they are together before the 2028 elections. They don't want to be taken unawares. I'm sure that the party at this time have learned some lessons, because Dr. Baumia spoke about the arrogance of power, which was present almost in every poll. Can you fault them if they've taken this decision based on these metrics?
But this early vote, is it going to solve that problem? I don't see how.
The best in the morning is on 92.7.
Yes, it's a point well taken, but will they solve it? How? Tell us how is going to solve it? How this early poll is going to solve it? I don't see how. You have to get to the grass. You see, they started with a lie, and then come back to hound them. I told them, you're not going for thank you tour. You're going for forgive me tour. I'm sorry tour. Re-examination tour. So when you go, if that is the case, then it's not optional for only the candidates who want to go. No. All the candidates in the party must go. The MPs and all of them have to go. All of you gathered in one place at a time. You interact with yourselves, you talk to the people, they get energized again. You see all of you together. You don't do that. Instead, you design a thing for one candidate and another candidate. And this is what is going on. If you have money, they want to do what you want for you. It won't work. That is bringing further divisions. If they don't know that, let them do it. You may get your money for now, but you are not going anywhere. You will lose even worse.
Well, the NPP is poised for power in 2028. At least that's what we have heard the NPP say. We shall win to save Ghana.
It's not true. Not at all. They can say whatever. Well, look, wishful thinking is free. So you can say whatever you want. You know what happened? Look what happened to you last time around, and you're going to do it again without making any amendments in your whole system. How is that going to work? No. Is that going to make the party more attractive now? No. You are deepening the divisions when you do that. This is the time to bring all parties together, talk as one body.
Well, Mr. Kennedy Japan has made that call on behalf of the party, suggesting that the likes of you who are disgruntled, the likes of Mr. Foku, all of you who have left the fold should be brought back into the fold using the channel of amnesty. Would you go back to the NPP?
I'm not one of them. I won't go back, no. I won't. What I've seen is commendable what they have said. And I don't think anybody will go back. There is too far gone for now for that to happen. They had a chance earlier if he had spoken up and acted accordingly that he wants fairness, then people would have stayed. But it's too late now. When all these things, look, when Alan wanted to break up, some disgruntled people were happy that at least they also have a base. And they were hoping that Ireland Japan will join Ireland together. And that will force the party's hand, you see. But he didn't. So he wanted his own thing, and he went his own way, and the whole thing fizzled out. So now it's too late, You can't play with people's emotions and aspirations that way. No. So I'll quit. I'll never go back.
I see.
Because I don't think that party can offer me anything. Look at the TV. Look at the misbehavior. Killing everywhere. Lies. Even now. Look at ECG. Look at PDS. I can go on and on and on and on. So that's an organization I cannot be a member.
I see.
It's enough for me.
Great.
I didn't come into the world to do politics. No.
Doc, I'll have you hold the line so I can bring in Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otry. Doc, thank you very much for your time. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny.
Great. I'm sure that you've been following the activities of the NPP. They want to have the presidential primaries in January of 2026 to be prepared very well ahead for 2028. Is that a good move?
Well, strategically, if that is what the focus is, then why not? That means that it's going to give the opposition leader ample time to contest. As to whether he will not be campaign fatigue along the line, well, only time will tell. But if that strategy is what the focus is, then why not?
Now, are they going about it in the right way?
So we have the form and the substance. So the form is that they want to give the opposition leader enough time to campaign. But the substance is the fact that, look, you are creating a structural deficiency for others. not to be in competition against the very person that you want to create advantage for. Because if you want to have that early conference, so to speak, and to have that focus of competing with whoever the NDC is going to elect, and to be one step ahead of that person, the process leading to that is as important as, the campaign itself, the contest itself, and the result in terms of the election. So if you have a situation where they are suggesting to us, I stand to be corrected, that they are going to use the old register, and then that means that the very delegate that elected the presidential candidate for 2024 are the very delegates that are going to elect the same, or they're going to be those who are going to be voting for whoever is to become the presidential candidate. But I should tell you that structurally somebody is one step ahead of the rest of them, because I don't see a potential significant shift from that which transpired before the 2024 election than before the 2028 election. And even if people are going to change their mind, it will be very insignificant. And so, apart from those who have died along the line, I see a significant number keeping to the status quo. And that will not warrant unity. It is definitely going to ruffle feathers at the grassroots, because definitely the establishment is creating an atmosphere for a particular individual to emerge. That will not bring any unity. And I've listened to Boache Jako. It does not take an individual to win elections for the party. It takes a concerted effort of those at the grassroots and those at the top level. That coordination is not there. Then it means that people will be disgruntled, there will be apathy. So it means they have not learned any lessons from what happened before the 2024 election. Yeah.
I see. Now, let me come to you, Dr. Makuban. We're talking about four runners here. Dr. Yaw Adutwum is the latest addition, but before that, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Kennedy Japan, Dr. Brian Champon. So that makes four of them. If you had to pick one to represent the new Patriotic Party, pardon, Doc.
4 years to election, 4 years to we close everybody up. That's all you're saying. Nobody new can come in. Those of you who went and failed, who are the same crop you're going to present. Is that it? Why? Is that how a party is? Does it belong to certain people? Why the old administrators, they want to pick the new one? They took the party to the polls and were lost colossally. They should not be in charge of the new poll to have the same result. The shenanigans that are stepped into the party, the thievery, the lies, people just vying for one candidate at the detriment of everybody else. They don't care. As long as they get money, that's it. We know this is what's going on. So don't pretend, let's not pretend I think we don't know. Whatever they do, the old leaders do. They're doing it for a person, for someone. That's what they do.
Who is this person you keep repeating? Who is that?
Oh, in different instances, there's a group that supports Japan, a group that supports Tampon.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. So when they are talking, they are not talking in a vacuum for the good of the party. They are speaking because of somebody else, and that is not good. This is what has happened in the past. The party has to clean house first, get people to be settled, to be content before you go forward. Otherwise, the same division will come. The leaders think the party belongs to them, so they can do anything they want, and the people will just follow them. Who are they? Who are they? If they are good, they will learn from this. Well, the period where they will say they will break the age, will break the age, that is the very period they did the worst. That means they don't even know what hit them. They don't know what happened to them. This is the point. So they should stop it and go back to the drawing board, talk sincerely, get people together, and clean out the house. All the rubbish must go out. You got too many ruffians in the party now. Too many. And the leaders, they're too. Look, if it's a good country, the leaders of the party would have resigned already. For performing so abysmally, you understand? You don't get to come and gain a big people as if you've done well. You did things that you didn't even know. As I told you, break the egg. Where did they come from? So what did you do? That's when you were saying break the egg, that's when you did the work. That tells you don't know what you were doing. That's it. And so you should not still be in charge. But you want to be in charge. What is it? You don't love the party, you love your position. That's what they are doing. They love their position. We committed ourselves in 2016 to work for this party to do well. With our money, our strength, everything. See, what did they do? You started in the crowd giving this and saying that. That election was easy enough. The next one that I, for example, I quit. I didn't do 2020. Look what happened. The 3 constituencies that I won for NPP, they lost all of it. They lost all of it. So you don't sit in the crowd and talk to us and say, you know something. What do you know? That's over there. I'm talking about the National Council people.
I see.
We have to hold elections for the administrators of the party before we pick a flag bearer. That's how it works. You don't know anything. The corruption that has stopped the party is still there. And you want to use that one to pick your own country. It won't work. Okay, I'll just say, go ahead. That's what you want to do. Go ahead and do it. And see if you get a different result.
I see.
Go right ahead.
Dr. Santiago, do you share in Dr. Makuba's views about the 4 forerunners for this presidential race? That's what we know at this time. We don't know if any more will come up.
Who are the 4 forerunners?
Well, there's Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, there's Kennedy Ejapon, there's Dr. Brian Champong, and then recently there's Dr. Yaw Adutwum, former education minister.
Yeah, so what's your question?
My question is, if you had to pick one to represent the NPP in 2028, who would it be? Dr. Makuba insists that they're getting it wrong. They're doing it for the individuals. They're not doing it for the party. They're sitting in Accra to take the wrong decisions. They have not learnt anything, and that's not the way to go. But first, tell me, who will be your pick?
Well, I would have picked Dr. Adutwum.
I see.
Because, but the party will not pick him. Because the structures in place do not favor the rest of the candidates. But
I don't understand.
Favor a particular candidate. Anyway,
the structures favor who?
Favor a particular candidate. You cannot say they are using the old register. As I said earlier on, you are using the old register. You are using the old delegates to conduct that particular top-bottom approach type of election. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to favor the very person that they elected that went and had a disastrous result. Because the reason why I would choose Adutwum is that so far you can see that with the inception into power of the NDC, of course, it couldn't solve the the red, gold, green kind of thing.
Right.
The
gold track and double track, if you will.
Double track system, yeah. He couldn't solve that. He promised in 5 years from the beginning of the implementation of that policy, they were going to do so, but he wasn't able to do that because we are talking about infrastructure deficit, and education is not the only portfolio that should take the entirety of the budget of the government. They did some of the infrastructure development, but they were not enough, as it were, to curb the issue of double track. So that would be a blemish of his campaign or his bid to become the presidential candidate. But when we are talking about candidates who are unblemished, out of the 4, it stands tall. It stands tall. Dr. Baumia has tested the ground, and he had a disaster. Apart from that, what are his leadership credentials? Is always into this post-event rationalization. So, for example, the report, Makoko's report, suggests something, subtly, that religion and tribe played a role. Then he comes out to say that no. It was high cost of living, certain scandals like the National Cathedral, and then unguarded occurrences during the internal, primaries and elections. Those things affected the chances of the party to win. Apart from that, that inconsistency in terms of suggesting to us that, when I win the elections in 2025, I'm going to repeat the e-levy, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But you were in the fray when all these things were passed. You never uttered any word, or you never gave a subtle disapproval of that which was done. You never did so. So that hypocritical aspect of his leadership staff is something that will affect him. Apart from that, there are others who will be thinking that, you see, off control of the former president, domination or influence of the former president, nothing in itself is still there. If you look at Kennedy Japan, I have said time without number that he had a better message than Dr. Baumia when the two of them were competing. But unfortunately for him, his presidential ambition is an afterthought, if you ask me. And that he only contested for Shege reasons, if that word is for Shege reasons, to show personalities or persons like Untumi that they are not in control of the party.
Right.
And that when did he really come? So he just did that, show them that he has a code within the party. That was exactly what he did. Now, if you look at Dr. Boy himself, yes, he is a new force. He is resourceful, he has resources. He's well connected, he's networked. Now, he started by suggesting to us that he set up an exploratory committee, which is a very strategic political decision to find out exactly if or what are his chances. But he tells us that to find out how the party is going to unite, crystallize, and all those things. But of course, it is to test the ground of his candidature and how he will be able to emerge. But for him, the negative aspect, obviously, you have those unguarded statements that he made in support of the Baumia or the party. So you can also mention the issue, how he wanted to buy the hotels and all those things. Those things are negative publicity that will affect his chances.
I see.
But my question to him is that what has really changed that his avowed support for the Baumia has now turned into a contest against the Baumia? What has really changed? So if you look at all of these, then it means that they all have characters unworthy of being elected as president.
I see.
Or, in terms of their track record, they do not meet up that particular threshold.
Are you saying that the NPP should kiss the 2028 elections goodbye?
It will be dependent upon two things, not necessarily the NPP. NPP itself, as you look at it from you look at it from this perspective, the top-bottom approach is going to create a disaster for them. Because if Dr. Baumia is elected, it's going to be a democratic autocrat. Because now all those from the grassroots will want to align themselves with where power is. So where would the democracy be? There wouldn't be any kind of opposition or something of that sort. Once the presidential candidate is elected, that is it. But the other two main factors is the fact that those two factors are coming from the NDC. How will the transition be like? If they are able to handle the transition very well, NPP stand no chance.
I see.
Is the economy. How they are going to run the economy. Because if Ghanaians use the economy to vote out the NPP in such a massive way, if they perform, abysmally, or the indicators are worse than what they came to be, then Ghanaians have no option than to kick against them. Other than that, no matter if they handle the transition while the economy is 2028 is a done deal. In fact, it could even inure to their benefit in 36 or 32 or 36. Yes, it could inure to their benefit because whoever comes will want to ride on the benefit chalk by President Mahama. and that goodwill will follow that person. If that happens, a person will want, unless maybe they will pick someone that will not want to go for a second term.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself, I have discussed that issue privately. If you really want to confuse the electorate, you can decide to pick another person that will decide to go for one term. Then the next will go for the 2 terms.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you say that, NBC would have done 16 years.
Okay.
So those are the factors that could easily militate against them, or that will enhance their chances of winning the elections in 2028.
I see.
The NPP, in the way manner they are organizing themselves, maybe time will tell. Maybe some of us will be proven wrong. But if they are not careful, another splinter group will come out of the NPP.
Dr. Makuba, we're wrapping up this conversation, and you notice also that the NPP now does not have a leader in the chair, because the Honorable Stephen Team's family have asked that he be allowed to stay away on the grounds of ill health. So now you have people acting in his stead as chairman. What does that also mean for the party at this time?
Well, I also said before that NPP pretty much have candidates who are for the center. But the party is back. That's the whole thing. The party itself is back. And they need to fix the party before they bring the country. They don't see that. The country cannot fix the party. It is the leaders, party leaders, who to fix the party, energize the base, bring stability into their midst, fairness and everything. Honesty. This is all gone. This is all about money now. How are you going to win elections like that? You can't win, no matter what you do, no matter what candidate you bring, because the party is a mess. There's too much corruption in the party. They do the bidding of those who have money. Political party is not just about money. Fairness, sincerity, hard work. They have lost all of them. And instead of going back to the drawing board and look at it again, they want to push it aside and come back and do the same thing they've been doing. It won't work. They can go ahead and do it. I know that's what they want to do. Let them do it. Look what happened. You go into a thank-you talk. Why would you go to a thank-you talk for a person who didn't vote for you? You tell me that makes sense. That's disingenuous. It's not true. Because that's how was arranged for someone else. And look what happened. That in itself brought the disagreement between Kennedy Japan and Baumia City. You want to keep doing that, go ahead and do your shenanigans and see how far it takes you. Yes. You are not children. We know what is going on. Those in Accra they have their own agenda. It's all about money. Go ahead and see what you get. You get even worse results than before. What happened to us? Have we implemented anything? The committee came up with reasons why we lost. But why did we lose? It's 66% for Baumia, 68% for Nanadu. What specifically did he do for people to hate so much? Tell us now. Have you found out what did Baumia do for people not to like it? And what about Kennedy Japan? These are things we have to know and fix before we go forward and behave as if everything is okay. Go ahead. Good to me should not be chairman of anything. You understand? Well, a good party, good to me, should not be a chairman of anything engaged in criminal activities. They can contract and not do it. They can contract and not do it.
Those are still allegations, sir.
The best in the morning.
Allegations?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm alleging both. How about that? I'm alleging both. So those who are making the allegations, they don't really have any foundation. Also, he didn't take contract. Hey, what is wrong with that? We live in this country. The government is there. They were in charge. Did any government official come and say, no, he didn't do anything? Is that the one we had? It's still saying it's allegation. Okay, fine. That's alleged all the way. What is going on here?
Dr.
When
Makuba.
we know the truth, we don't want to say it. Go ahead with the falsehood. Let's see how far it will take you. Let's see how far. This is just like we're taking God out of everything we do. We want to tell falsehood, lie. That's what it means. God is out of it, and it will never work. It will never work. You understand? It will never work. I'm telling you.
I hear you, Dr. Makuba. We're grateful for your time this morning. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. Thank you. Dr. Autry, you have the closing thoughts there. The NPP now is extending an olive branch to its members who feel disgruntled. So the Wache Jackals of this world, the Paula Focus of this world, the Sammy Crabs of this world. You can go on tall lists of persons who feel that Dr. Makuba himself, the Alan Breakaway team, should they accept this olive branch?
Well, everybody has a reason for leaving the party. They can set up a committee to do that. Why not? We use human beings to foster the growth of a party so that you'll be able to achieve the vision and the mission of the party. If you continuously excommunicate members of importance who have families and who have followers, then it means that your members are dwindling. And so if you have a situation where that is a possibility, why not? But I don't see all of them coming back in a way. Others may have entrenched positions, and so you waste your time trying to bring them back. But the likes of Paul Afoko, for example, he has really conducted himself very well in the public domain.